Step 3, educators. This section covers how to report teachers, administrators, and education specialists in the PRF system. The purpose is to ensure accurate tracking of staff and whether they are properly certified. Please note this is distinct from the classified staff collection, which includes staff not required to hold specific endorsements like paraprofessionals, athletic directors, custodians, food service workers. Who's all included? All PK-12 teachers are included in this collection. Administrators, which are your principals, superintendents, CEOs, and education specialists such as counselors, business managers, psychologists, SPED directors, curriculum specialists, tech coordinators, and instructional coaches. The current platform limitations and workaround. In the past, some PRF contacts would print a report by staff person that included all classes rolled over that were assigned to each educator the previous year. These printouts were then handed to the building principals to mark up with red pen, indicating what each educator is teaching for the current year. The PRF contact would then use the notes to update the PRF platform. Due to ongoing development issues, the printable reports are not available, but here is a workaround. If you navigate to your reports and go to the reports by staff person, you can highlight all the rows by holding down your Control A, and this will select them. And then you can export the report by staff person by copying and pasting them into a spreadsheet. Be sure to remove social security numbers before sharing this document, and ask principals to use the track changing, or they could just simply turn the font red to indicate they made a correction. Once they make the corrections for this year's class schedule by teacher, you can start uploading or updating them into the system. All right, let's navigate to staff management and educators. Make sure the district has educators is toggled to yes. Warning, setting the value to no will cause all staff to be removed from this school year, and you'll have to start over from scratch. So hands off, as you don't want your staff to vanish without an undo button. Today, I'll show you how to add a filter by last name and then clear the filter. So if we click on the icon that looks like a filter and say and select the last name, contains duck, and run, you can see that it'll narrow down to your Daffy Duck. You can clear the filter. I'll also show you how to sort by last name and then by first name. You have to click on the icon that looks like a filter. Click on Add Sort. You can pick last name, first name, And it'll sort alphabetically. So those are just a few tools. As far as the October submission, there are 4 key tasks. With the October submission, you'll need to complete these to ensure your educator records are accurate and compliant. First, I want to walk you through adding a new employee, Donald Duck. You're going to click on the new button. Once you're on this screen, you'll put in their social security number. Again, this is a fictitious number. And add this to the PRF if newly hired. As you notice, it will pre-fill if they have something on the certification side of the system for date of birth, federal race, and if you notice here, the educator profile status is set to expired. This individual is not authorized to teach in South Dakota. He has an all preliminary, which allows you to apply for a teaching position and for the school to offer a contract. With this alternative preliminary certificate, Donald Duck can only shop around for jobs. So if you see this, you need to notify your principal that he still needs to complete the alternative certification application. All right, let's use the record validated field to confirm the record has been reviewed and is ready for submission. We need to fill in the salary. Based on being a new employee, the years of experience would be 0. Record validated, you would say yes. And then you need to scroll down. Pick your attendance center. Pick your position code. Pick your assignment code. If they're full-time, they start the school year, they're ending the school year, they work a full, the full hours per day, then they would be considered a full-time 1 FTE. Enter the trimesters and click on save. And you do have to go back to Donald Duck's demographic record. And again, an all preliminary certificate does not allow an individual to be paid. It only indicates the individual has met the minimum qualifications and can sign a contract. So again, you have to add all your new employees. The second thing you need to do is update existing staff. If we look at Minnie Mouse, if she signed a 25-26 contract, her 24-25 data rolls forward, and you would need to update the salary to reflect the new negotiated agreement for this year. You would need to update her experience. Let's see, she was just instructional, so previously she must have done some ed specialist and admin. So I'm just gonna update the total teaching experience. Um, and then you need to make sure her class schedule stayed the same. If that class schedule stayed the same and rolled forward correctly, then you can just say record validated and save. Additionally, you need to adjust records for anybody that maybe started the school year and departed mid-year. If we look at Mickey Mouse, if he worked part of the 25-26 school year and left, you do not mark him as no longer employed. This will be handled in the 26-27 collection. This year, you have to account for the portion of the time that he was employed with your district. So instead, you're going to open each assignment record and update the quarters worked. You're going to adjust the FTE. If he was paid out $15,000 of his $60,000 salary, that is approximately a 0.25 FTE. So you're going to update the salary to reflect the actual payout. And then you need to come down to the assignment records. If we were to take 25% of a 0.72, that's about a 0.18 FTE. And again, if all 3 trimesters were there, you would remove trimester 2 and 3 because he was only here for trimester 1, and click save. Go back to Mickey's record. Update that second assignment record, which 25% of 0.28 is a 0.07. And again, this is just trimester 1. So you need to make sure to remove trimester 2 and 3 and save. Make sure you mark the record as validated. If you notice, your salary here is 15,000. The adjusted instructional salary, is converted to a full-time employee's rate of pay. And that determines reasonableness on our assurance statement. So you're going to still see, a figure close to what the full negotiated agreement was. But that's just used for our assurance statement. The fourth thing that you need to do in the educator screen is mark those no longer employed records. These are people that have never worked a day in 2025, 2026, and they were employed last year, but again, did not work a single day in the current school year. So if we look at Pumda, we're going to mark this record with no longer employed. And this individual got employed in another accredited South Dakota school district. It will ask you if the vacant position filled the first day of school. And you'll have the option of, yes, it was filled on the first day of school. That will generate a turnover record. If you mark it as no, it was left vacant, it will generate a vacancy record in the vacancy collection. And again, you're going to validate this record and save. The other example I'll give you for a record that will generate either turnover or vacancies is Pinky Paulson. If he switched positions within the district, say he became a principal this year, but the previous position was reading vocal music, and that remained unfilled, it will also generate vacancy records for those instructional classes. So you're going to leave him as employed in the district, but you're going to place a check mark for switched positions in the district, and the previous position is still vacant. Again, last year, he was the reading and vocal music. This year, switched to the principal position. Once you have all your records validated, they will show up on this screen, and you can use this to show records that you need to go back to, but you want to get all the records validated. Another use in the educator screen is for substitute teachers. When a long-term substitute is acting as the teacher of record for more than 45 cumulative school days, they must be added to the PRF as a long-term substitute. As far as timing, right now with the school year starting in August and this collection due in October, there likely won't be many long-term substitutes to report yet. However, when the PRF system reopens in January for the end of year closeout, you'll likely have more long-term substitutes to report at that time. Okay, so one of the ways to define a long-term substitute teacher is defined as an individual with a valid or active without a valid or active certificate who is serving as the teacher of record for more than 45 cumulative school days in a single assignment. So our example today is Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head was hired for 46 days at $175 per day as a special education teacher of record in a vacant position while the district pursues a contract for a certified teacher. You will submit the long-term sub waiver, and you will submit a PRF record, because this person is acting as the teacher of record for more than 45 days without a valid certificate. So when you report this, you need to make sure that your status is long-term substitute. And it's a little bit of a guessing game, but if this person was employed for 46 days at 175, that's $8,050. As far as the FTE calculation, if they're there 46 out of 175 total contract days, the FTE would be about a 0.26. All right, any questions in the comments that need to be addressed?
There are no questions at this time. We would also just quickly send out another reminder to the group if you've joined since we've started. We are recording this. We will post everything to the webpage as soon as we get done and clean it up. If you do have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and come to the meeting with the questions, as long as those questions are not specific in nature or identifiable information. If you have some of those, we are happy to wait online following this training.